I have something that we've teased you with for quite a few rounds now. We once showed you Irelia and Draven as the upcoming matchup. Well, look, guess what? They're finally here. It is Draven versus Irelia, and this is, again, I will refresh you all. This is an extremely unique take on Draven. I don't believe triple detonate main is standard. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't know everything about Draven, but I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah, it's an interesting list for sure. This detonate could be so cool. I'm excited to see how it plays in this matchup coming up. We do have Unveiled Temple in this list as well, just like we saw in the last game. And I think one thing to note is the one spinning axe in main. In the future games, we're going to have to look out for both of them because there's a second one, and it's just the reaction speed is just so nice.
There's Pack of Wonders in this sideboard. That is one of my pet cards from Origins.
Oh, no.
If you don't know what that one does, you exhaust it. You can pick something up and put it back in your hand. So if you pick up a scrap heap, you get to you don't get to draw a card because it didn't die. When you replay it, you get to draw a card. If you pick up your Ezreal, you can replay it and draw a couple cards. There's a lot of cool things you can do with Pack of Wonders. In fact, if you Pack of Wonders a treasure trove, well, that one's just a leave trigger. So you just get the benefits of the treasure trove while still keeping the treasure trove.
Yeah, and that Treasure Trove is in main. I was interested to see Treasure Trove there without Pack of Wonders being in the main. So we'll have to see how that ends up playing out. I also just kind of love Pack of Wonders in a lot of these like purple decks. Sometimes like the Misfortune list will run it to pick up the Mind Splitter and then put the Mind Splitter back down, pick the Mind, and then you just have it repeating over and over. We'll have to see how that plays in this deck for sure, but a lot of cool plays we could see.
Yeah,
here.
we'll talk about it more in the games, but this is definitely what feels like a really Miracle Shell, kind of pushed to the extreme limit of the idea, right? Really trying to play all the card draw, trying to get through the deck as fast as possible, and then recycle things and have just a really robust deck you're consistently recurring things from. We'll have a look at the other side though, because this is a matchup, maybe not this exact deck list, but a matchup we are going to see quite a lot over the course of the weekend. It is Irelia, and this list looks great. Very standard. We had a top 4 list. This is looking very similar to what we saw in Bologna.
Yeah, this is going to be a really great, I'm really fun, excited to see this matchup. We will have to look over that sneaky deck hands. It's not surprising to see it in this list, but if we can get sneaky deck hands out on that turn 1, a lot of decks really kind of want to get some early point leads against Irelia, and the sneaky deck hands stops it.
Yeah, deckhand's a fun one. Getting your points and then kind of comboing off to the end of the game is the thing that Irelia generally wants to do, but I don't really know what Draven wants to do in this matchup because, again, this is such a different build of Draven. Again, plenty of Draven decks do this, but this is kind of the quintessential, I want to do this specific game plan pushed as far as you can. So you know what? Instead of speculating about what's going to happen in the matchup, let's go ahead and watch it. We're going to go down to our feature match area. And a matchup we expect to see quite a hit. In round 2, it's Pulliam versus Troop Dupe Scoop, which is quite a set of words with a bunch of vowels in them. Gonna put some with Obelisk of Power here. Draven versus Irelia today.
This is such an interesting one, starting with both Obelisk of Powers. I feel like oftentimes you don't really want that to happen. But so we are going to be starting with our first player with 4 runes potentially. Our player going second, having 5 runes potentially, not the counts you normally see, but it will mean we could see Irelia really early. We could see a lot of cards from Will. There's so many different things that could happen here with these 2 Obelisks of Powers.
So both players going to mulligan 2 cards, it looks like here. And fist pump goes out, and the first player is, we'll find out soon because they're going to have 4 runes. It is going to be Draven going first.
Let's see.
Doesn't get to draw a card for turn, feels good. And let's just play this thing. Yeah, sure, this seems good.
Straight to Draven. We're going to get him out super early. If you can win those combats, obviously our leader Draven is going to be so nice to draw cards in those showdowns. But when Draven Vanquisher comes in, if he wins a combat, he gets to get a gear, a golden gear as well, which is just so nice. Start building those resources. So let's see.
Yeah, the second line of text on Draven, by the way, not one to ignore. When I attack or defend, you may recycle a red power, only red power. If you do, you get +2 this turn. I had this happen to me because Jim Davis took me out with this.
Oh, no.
Because it turns out you get to pay this every time Draven attacks or defends. So if you get, I don't know, say fight or flighted out of the battlefield after Draven pays, Draven can pay again. and all of a sudden, you have to deal with an 8-might unit after getting pushed out for the first time.
Yeah, it's definitely painful. And if you're like defending as well with him, you can just keep doing it as many as you win. We do see that Silkhorn Herder coming down on Troop's side. It will help draw those cards. And while we may have had enough runes to play the Irelia, which is going to be, our end game here, the thing is that you do not want to play Irelia if you don't have the cards to protect her. There's only one Irelia in this deck, and if she dies, your game plan, there's some options, but not many of them.
Yeah, certainly Irelia is your best threat, so you want to try and protect that one as best you can. We are going to see Ezreal discarding a Scrap Heap, though, so again, tearing through this deck at light speed. Cold Shot also going to keep shuffling through some cards. And that die, by the way, that is counting how many cards have been played this turn. Why would that possibly be important, Nurse, today?
I wonder if there could be a battering?
Battering Ram.
Battering Ram. But yeah, Battering Ram is so nice. We have so many of these discount cards. We've talked over and over today about how much discounting cards can be powerful. And Battering Ram, for as many cards as you play that turn, discounts, I believe, down to one energy. And it does look like with 3, we'll only have to pay 2, meaning that's not just a 4 Draven threatening 6. It's 9.
Yep, can't get all the way to 3, but 2 feels pretty good at this stage with all of that might presented on the battlefield. So this is kind of the thing that Draven does to you. Just presents really good numbers, puts good might on the battlefield, and then asks you a question. Do you want to try and challenge me? Because if you do and you are wrong, I get further and further ahead.
Yeah, he is so good at that, drawing cards, generating gold. He can just gain such a lead. And I mean, Irelia, we didn't hit the sneaky deck hands. We're already at 1 point. Obviously, Silkhorn Herder, it will help draw cards, but Irelia needs to find a way in and then dance around the field to a win.
I have to respect Troop's bling. I will say it's a beautiful looking deck so far.
Yeah.
These beautiful ult-out runes, this foil Silkhorn Herder, the boots are going on, Aurelia's popping. We're getting ready just to draw a card here from the Silkhorn Herder. We already scored our point. We're not getting over on the other side. We're just going to get ready and maybe think about ganking, I suppose. But it's only 5 might right now, and that's just the might printed on the Battering Ram.
Yeah, that is not nice. It does look like a charm is going to come down. There are no runes up on Draven's side, so the printed cost, at least for the Battering Ram, is, the same one. But you do, I believe, only play a power for the Draven plus,
yes,
not
correct.
energy. So we could still see him go to 6. It looks like that will not be the case, and Draven will die.
Yep, had the option, and now going to gank on over there. That's 5 currently. Draws a card. Going to need to play another spell, but there's plenty of gas in the tank here. On guard. Going to be the trick of choice here for Troop. And that's going to give +2 to the lonely Silkhorn Herder. That's going to get a point and another card for moving, and of course, a point for conquering. So a very efficient bit of movement there from this Irelia player, and that's exactly what you need. When it starts going wrong against Draven, it usually snowballs out of control. That turn was very well kept under control.
Yeah, I think we put Draven in his place a little bit here, the Silkhorn Herder, but I mean, she is a 5 right now, sitting in the Obelisk of Power.
Pretty big.
I mean, good size for sure. Our player does have Ezreal, though, able to discount these additional costs.
We're doing it again, by the way. We were putting the die out to indicate how many cards we have played this turn, which again, Battering Ram to 1 is going to be the potential here.
We have 2 counts, though.
Cold Shot going to get put on the chain. I think Troop asked just to hold on a little, because he's going to be a Defy on the other side. So not wanting any more selection. That also does turn off the count card, I believe, for Battering Ram. Yep, so it does tick down. Troop does know how that works. Very similar to Ravenbloom Student, if you're familiar with that interaction out of Origins. So you're going to have to work a little harder here for the Battering Ram. And in some ways, having a little die to remind yourself, that is good. But you may have accidentally tipped to your opponent that you have another Battering Ram. Or maybe you do it every time, and they just have to call your bluff.
Yeah, I feel like you'll have to do it every single time. Otherwise, it's going to give a little bit too much information. It looks like we're potentially deciding to move Ezreal, and we're putting our 3 Ezreal up into the Silkhorn Herder. We must have something here, and it looks like a Rebuke is going to come down here.
Kind of nice, actually. Baited out the Defy, potentially. Oh, actually, you can't Defy Rebuke. Never mind. That costs 2 power. So not even an option. Not so fast turned off in some ways by tapping your opponent under 2 runes. So that is going to work out. And of course, Draven, the one thing that really makes it sing is that when you win a combat, you draw a card. And it turns out, bouncing a unit back to hand when you have a unit there is winning a combat.
Who would have thought? But that being said, it is so nice to get that draw. It'll help us find more cards, the pieces we need, maybe more cards to play to discount other cards in our deck. And so it all comes together so nicely with this Miracle Draven.
Yeah, Irelia, a deck that really commits a lot of power, though, when she does powerful things. Kind of saw that with the Equip and the Irelia activation for the Stellarcorn. So does have room to replay the Stellarcorn, but just doing that now feels like you may be going to be a little bit behind. So curious how much Troop Dupe wants to commit here by readying again, reattaching the boots, maybe rumbling in. Because again, when you choose wrong against Draven, you get punished. So if you cannot beat this Ezreal in combat, not only are you going to probably lose your unit, but Draven's going to draw a card.
Yeah, it is so painful to lose a combat here, especially when you don't think it's possible. You're there with your swiftness, you're like, I'm a 5 versus your 3, what's going to happen? And nope, Rebuke takes out. It looks like Irelia is officially coming in, though, so we must have something to be able to protect her, hopefully. Does look like we are currently just tapped out, though. We're going to leave Irelia in base.
Yeah, taking a turn off here, not even equipping with Boots of Swiftness. Obviously, that equip can be a choose effect for your Irelia Legend, so you do kind of want to bounce around those different things, but this is kind of scary. I don't know how much removal is in Will's deck. I didn't remember it all off the top of my head, but Traveling Merchant's going to move in, try and cycle through some cards here. This Irelia is looking a little bit vulnerable, potentially, over on the other side, but if she lives, and it's kind of a setup turn here for the Irelia player, going to have a lot of action to dance over these battlefields, as you so poignantly put it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she's able to do. Hopefully she does survive the turn while she's vulnerable here, but we'll have to see if Draven can still deal with it when she's moving around.
Here's Ezreal. We should probably read Ezreal, by the way, because we are going to see him a lot.
That is true. We've been talking a lot about his discard.
Yes.
But I think one of the big things is his optional additional cost. It gets discounted. We now have 2 down, which does mean we're going to get even more. And so things like the accelerates, the repeats, and different additional costs like that are just going to be discounted here for our Ezreal. I mean, Ezreal's just been so strong in so many decks this set.
Yeah, Cold Shot, definitely the one that kind of most people think of, but lots of different things with the repeat effects that Ezreal lets you get a very big rebate on. 4-2 right now as far as points go, with Traveling Merchant holding down the fort in the northern battlefield. So Irelia is going to go ahead and say, hey, let's challenge you and see if you can get away with it all. Already has an extra might thanks to her. When I ready, get +1, or when you choose me, give me +1. And Awakening at the start of your turn is readying, which I literally looked up last night because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. She reads like a 4. You see her, she costs 5, and she's only 4, and you're like, oh man, she's not even that big for how much she costs. But the moment she awakens, she is already up to a 5. And with this, when you choose me or ready me, give me +1, you just continue to grow her. We attach the boots. She gets, chosen again. If you discipline her, she's not just a +2. On guard is not just a +2. It is so crazy to see her grow because she can become monstrous.
Yeah, so now the thing is, are we holding with this Irelia as we replay the Stellarcorn? Looks like we are. So Irelia currently a 6 at the battlefield. Again, readying during your opponent's turn, not impossible, but a little trickier. So it's just 1 rune open here. There is a Zhonya's in play, though. So we'll have to see if this Irelia can live through the fight, either holding at the battlefield, which would be best case scenario, getting a point, or just getting pushed back to base with that Zhonya's, replacing her potential demise. Again, need to protect the princess here on the Irelia side, as Draven is still cycling through this deck.
Yeah, we have to protect the princess. Zhonya's will do that, but we do still have 1 rune up, meaning that there could be things like Defy that come down. We could see things like On Guard that can make her, I mean, she's a 4. She's 6 right now, and it would make her up to a 9?
Mm-hmm.
9.
+2, +1. Thanks to that Irelia attacks. The stacked deck is going to continue the battering ram counter, I guess we can lovingly call it. And again, Will just trying to get through this deck as quickly as possible. Not doing nothing on the road to doing that, I might add. Like, still playing units, challenging there, trying to get Draven triggers. Like, you still play, regular-ish Riftbound, but when the game gets really late, that's when things can get out of control. The question is, can you actually get that late against Irelia, who's going to constantly put pressure on your battlefield? And here's a Bushwhack. This means this turn's going to get quite big.
This is going to be an interesting one. Bushwhack is I like the card a lot. It's a nice little red. When your friendly units, they enter ready for the turn, and you can also get a gold gear exhausted, which is so nice.
Now, when would we want to ready units on a turn? When would that maybe be good?
Let's see. Maybe if we play some big units that want to attack, maybe Battering Ram can come in ready. What is this Detonate, though? You did mention it earlier.
Took out the Zhonya's. So again, I did look at this card and think, is this just a card draw spell for Draven? But there is a lot of good gear running around in Spirit Forge, and just even giving your opponent 2 cards like Hidden Blade, sometimes that's okay because you killed the single most important piece of equipment they have, and that Zhonya's just gone.
Ooh, yeah, what is this Irelia going to do now? Again, we still have 1 rune, but the Zhonya's was trying to protect the princess. It was that fell safe if we weren't able to give her enough might to be able to survive whatever is coming at her. And Rasa coming in here. I have a feeling we did not have to pay very much of anything with this big discard pile.
Doesn't look like much got paid again. Very aggressively cycling through the deck, and now that 6 might plus the 3 from the Ezreal rumbling into this battlefield thanks to Bushwhack is going to get readied. That's without the Rams even coming through. There's so much discounting that these decks do, these Miracle Shells do. And now going to challenge the Irelia, who, as we noted, is currently a 6, but could be bigger.
She could be potentially a 9 with an on guard, so we could see a trade, but we would not be happy as Irelia to have that happen.
Yeah, you can see Will actually, I think, counting exactly to those numbers, thinking on guard the most obvious card being represented here by a Troop. Can't play Charm in this spot, so that's not an option there. I'm trying to think what else you could even have. I mean, Defy is kind of the obvious one you think of, but that doesn't matter in combat. That only matters when, spells are there that you can potentially counter. And there's Defiant Dance!
Defiant Dance. I didn't even think about it, even though I've been saying Dance way too many times this turn. While it does get +2 like on guard, it also -2s your opponent, which means what was a 9 is now a 7, and we are a 9.
And you get +1, and that is an effective +5 for a single energy. And I don't know how that slipped my mind, because this is one of the reasons to play Irelia. Such a strong signature spell, and that is going to turn this combat upside down for our poor Draven player.
Yeah, it does look like we're going to be paying for something here. So it looks like it's the one I mentioned earlier, which is our reaction speed gear. We are going to try to counteract that -2. But again, it's still only a trade right now. And the problem is as well is while this spinning axis is so strong, giving +2, if the unit's attached to dies and it's not attached to something else by the end of this turn, it will dissolve.
Yep,
it'll be temporary.
It does have temporary. Unfortunately, actually gives +3, which is a monumental amount of money. I did not know that number that was that big. So Ezreal's going to live. Axe is going to get unattached, so we'll have to reattach it if he wants to hold on to the Axe, but winning the combat, drawing a card, and most critically, taking out the Irelia, the one Irelia that the Irelia deck has.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. I always forget it's +3 instead of +2, but it's absolutely huge, and it is going to be able to make this Irelia die, and we still get the Obelisk of Power.
Got the point as well. Ezreal maybe going to rumble on over and just try and take another point, get to 6. Feels like a pretty good number to be at. Stack deck instead. I'm going to take a peek at those cards and see what we can find on top. I see a Battering Ram, I see a Detonate that immediately gets put to hand.
It's going to be so nice. It is interesting to see the Battering Ram go away, but we do have no runes up for the end of our turn, so when Troop does play this next one, he'll have all the information possible of what could occur to him.
Yeah, tough when you don't have your biggest threat available, but this Telecon can still get some damage done. With the boots especially, can go around drawing cards, finding pumps. As a card's going to get hit and wonder what that one could be. But that's that Ezreal in the back is actually not going to go over and grab point number 6, deciding that 5 is enough. Wanting to present some might at the one battlefield that we're kind of forced to hold thanks to the exchange that happened earlier. Again, threaten some Draven triggers if Troop does want to come in, and then just hold back. Feels like the position in the game is fine. Doesn't need to push all the way to 6 and try and threaten a win too early. Can get to 6 next turn, maybe from a hold, or if you have to just conquer to 5, it's fine. I think in some ways taking a turn off, well, kind of because he had a massive turn. Like, Will's runes are just gone at the bottom of the rune deck.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. I mean, Ezreal can do things with these lower rune counts because they're able to discount so much, but sitting at 1 rune I feel like never feels good in this game.
No, I mean if it wins you the game, you feel pretty good about it, but in spots like this where you're still scrambling for the final points, maybe it doesn't feel so good. So what's that hidden card? We're going to move with the Telecon and draw a card for Troop, and are we going to show our opponent a fight or flight? That's the obvious one. There's an on guard. Going to make you move first because my unit's already bigger.
And it is fight or flight, just like
Move the Ezreal. Really? I think I saw that correctly. I think he played fight or flight and tapped his Ezreal. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to defensively move back here. there's too many, I mean, I guess like runes up that we're worried about, you know, he may spin a Defy if he actually targets the opponent's card, but we are going to be able to take that point here.
I mean, Ezreal's pretty big, has the X there, so it's 6 for the Ezreal just on its own. There's another one in the back, of course, that can add. This is quite a bit of power, funnily enough, for Draven, despite all the runes getting recycled under the deck. But Troop is getting closer to the kind of the magical mark of points. Again, Irelia is a deck that when she gets to 6, she's really good at taking those last 2 points. Yeah,
she definitely is so strong at it. And a lot of these decks that run like Ride the Wind, hitting 6 can just be so important. I did notice this Draven, I believe, is not running a Ride the Wind, but I see one in Troop's hand. So it's something to watch for. If we can hit 6 here, then we could have a really strong turn, even in the Draven's turn.
Yep, and again, readying the herder, sending it back to the other battlefield thanks to ganking. And what did we just say about 6 points being good for Irelia?
Crazy, it looks like we hit it.
Are we going to be able to move the Stellacorn back, or are we just going to let it hang out and hold? Already, Stellacorn is 3 plus 3, that's 6 might at that battlefield. Ezreal is already bigger, with the one with the axe is looking pretty good, but Irelia does have tricks, and there's one of them. Going to try and charm a unit to the battlefield, because that Stellacorn already got bigger.
Yeah, that is so nice. So this charm is going to be able to bring it in, kill it, and hopefully if we can in before they're able to attach it, that threat will disappear as well.
I mean, you can attach because you have power, I suppose, but it doesn't feel good to roll the axe over. Nope, never mind, just goes away. Yeah, right, beginning of the turn, of course, the axe goes away. No real window to reattach it, so bye-bye axe.
Exactly, and we have to really, you know, worry here if we do decide to move in one of these battlefields, because with 2 runes up, that Ride the Wind is definitely an option. It does look like we are going to be having Detonate come down again to take out one of these gears, but spending these runes and making stopping the Ride the Wind, like making it not an option, is kind of dangerous.
Yeah, and Will's digging. It just detonated a treasure trove, right? You do get the trigger from the treasure trove, and you get to draw 2 cards. This is the thing I was talking about with this deck, where this is a really interesting, flexible spell in this Draven build, but behind here, I mean, absolutely threatening the win on Troop side, even with not that many runes. That Stellacorn's going to hold for 1, and you best believe it's looking to gank over on the other side. So Will needs an answer pretty soon, and that could be the one, hiding a card at that battlefield and redeploying a treasure trove. That is basically, I have a fight or flight, please do not have a counter.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's so interesting that he just like let the Ezreal move in instead of like riding the wind over, but I think we'll still have the option. We show the fight or flight to try to push this Ezreal back. Because Ezreal is no longer at Obelisk of Power, that hidden can't really be used, and I think it's like it dissolves. And so we're able to move on over and take the win.
Exactly correct. In order to control a hidden card, you need to be at the battlefield where the card is hidden, and when you get pushed away, you are no longer there. So that is a win for Irelia without Irelia in the middle point of that game. Very impressive here for Troop, navigating with a Stellacorn Herder and a Dream.
Stellacorn Herder and a Dream, and they made it all the way to those 8 points. Going into game 2, it looks like we will be doing Sunken Temple and Vild Temple. So very, we are really matching all of our battlefield today. First the power, now the temples. But we will have to watch out, I feel like, for those gears, similarly how we saw it last game, or last round with the Vild Temple.
Now, players are going to put some cards under their decks. So we kick off game number 2. It is 1-0 up right now for Irelia. See if Draven can mount a comeback with, again, this very draw-heavy build of Draven. Scrap heap, not a unit being deployed here on the first turn. Going to draw a card, and that threatens a little bit more than it might look like in terms of cards in hand. Not so good at contesting battlefields, but maybe you don't need it. A sneaky deckhand makes their way to the temple.
That is going to be so nice for Irelia. That's exactly the start you want, especially going second. Sneaky deckhands is really going to put us so far in the lead, even though it doesn't look like it just yet.
Yeah, like we said, Irelia, a deck that when she gets to 6, she can kind of play to set up for the win, right? There's a lot of powerful things you can do, especially if you have enough of a lead to take some time and set up. And Sneaky Deckhand's the kind of card that just gets you points early. You kind of really want to, get in early on the battlefield, get to points, and then set yourself up to win, whether that's with something like Draven Audacious. Some of the decks run Yasuo for an extra point. Some of them just want to kind of play all the way to 6 and go from there. And for now, Troop's happy. Going to get his point, retreat the deckhand, and play the Irelia.
Yeah, and we're already 2-0 now, while Draven hasn't even moved into one of these battlefields. We don't have any runes up to mention, so it's not like we'll be able to stop him from moving in this turn. It'll be interesting to see how these follow-ups do do resolve.
Yeah, actually, I guess I missed the pass back after the deckhand happened here, because I was just a Draven go on Will's side. So that is 2 points, one for conquering, one for holding, that Troop Dupe manages to scoop up here in the start of this game. And Irelia, as we know, very threatening whenever you try and contest the battlefield. I mean, Draven might be tricky, tough to play against when Draven's trying to force combat, but Irelia is really good at busting through that.
Yeah, for sure. They were both kind of play and go from their chosen battlefields, but oh my god, we're going to be playing Ferris Forerunner to the Sunken Temple, which just threatens so much might. And as we talked about, surprisingly in our Rumble game, he threatens those 2 baby mechs later.
Yeah, this card's really hype. If you're trying to hold a battlefield and make things tough for your opponent, Ferris Forerunner, exactly the kind of thing you want to be at. So that is 10 might as printed on the North battlefield. 2 more for Draven if they want to recycle an Angry Power on Will's side. And Irelia is going to get 1 bigger. So Troop, is this the turn you want to move in and try and take out these battlefields? Because again, when you pick wrong against Draven, you get punished.
That you do, and it can really hurt, especially when it's a Protect the Princess deck. Irelia, we were able to win without her last game, but we still got a lot done with her beforehand. So losing her, if we do that first turn that we play her, will not go good.
Also like that Will's taking Sunken Temple here. That's another way for Irelia to kind of get through cards quickly. So you need to do a little bit more work than, say, something like Dreaming Tree, but in effect, the same thing once you send a Mighty unit over, and Irelia pretty commonly mighty at different points throughout the game. But the question really is, can we get to 10? We're already at 5. We've got 3 more from the 2 gear that are in play. Can go again when we choose, thanks to Irelia. I think there should be 2 more. So already in my head, I think we're above 10. But I'm going to let Troop Dupe show us how it's done with that die.
Let's see.
At 10. I heard him say 10. I got close.
And we do still have those 2 runes up. If we attack by ourselves, we could use 2 rune on guards. That'd be +2 each, +3 each with her ability, or multiple other cards that could really help us here. And even if she does die, Guardian Angel is going to protect her.
I feel like we're setting up a ready into gank angle here. So going to go to the temple here. This is a pretty free conquer. Going to take point number 3. And again, it's 4, 7. That is 10. There is a Ride the Wind available here.
There is, yeah, you are 100% correct. And one thing to note is if we would be able to conquer with the Ride the Wind, she would be ready and can protect herself in base.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd get a 1 bigger from getting chosen. Just decides to say go. Doesn't want to commit the resources there. Again, it's 12 might at that battlefield. It looks like 10, but Draven can give himself +2. And I think in that spot, with the rune advantage that Will has and with the state the game is in, would happily recycle one of his red runes to try and win that combat.
100%. Does look like we are going to get Seal of Discord here, which is, I mean, always nice in these Miracle decks. Let's see.
They're going to use the power now, he says. Floating 1 energy still though, but there's an Ezreal.
We love Ezreal and Seal of Discord. That is such a strong combo. And if we can have something like Scrap Heap to discard, doesn't look like it will be, we're still going to get to draw 2 here.
I feel like any card you discard and drawing 2 feels good. When you get to get a bonus card, it feels even better. And again, that's the version of Draven that Will is presenting here in this matchup. Lots of cards in hand here, but this Irelia is still pretty big and has that GA hanging out on the battlefield. So not the easiest princess to displace.
100%. She is so strong for with Irelia and all the gear she has attached to her. Looks like we are potentially thinking about retreating potentially, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, behind on the race right now as well. Irelia generally the deck that's better at getting more points than you, so don't want to wait too long. Looks like a Scrap Heap's going to get detonated here for 3 cards now.
That's...
Troop says okay. Of course, this can be defied, but can let this one go and draw 3.
That is so nice to get to draw all these cards just from that one energy, 1 rune. Is that retreat back? We still do have 3 runes up though. If we could find some way to attack, but it doesn't look like. Oh, 1. I'll put 1 up.
Yeah, again, I think happy to play the slower game here in general. Is this Draven deck? Knows that the late game is going to be pretty well in hand. It can establish a pretty big presence. So kind of let Irelia do her thing for a couple turns. 5 points doesn't feel so threatening. 6 can be, but Miracle Shells are the kind of decks that will happily play from behind and then go from there. So players looks like they're just chatting about exactly what resources happened. Will knows exactly what sequencing was made here. Troop says, okay, just wanted to make sure everything was clear. And then here's a battering ram, which is pretty big and pretty cheap.
Very cheap right now, that is for sure. And it looks like after playing all this, getting all this might developed into the base, it will be time for Irelia. She's going to 4. She could gank to 5. But still just shy of that 6 mark that we've been talking about.
Going to draw a card of Temple as well, though, which is nice. I believe Temple is when you conquer, you may pay 1. If the unit is mighty, you draw a card. So we're going to gank on over, get our point number 5, and draw ourselves a card, thanks to the Sunken Temple.
And I would say she's pretty mighty here right now.
Yeah. As you noted, gets mighty when you awaken her. It's kind of a fun little mini game to play. It's like, what state is your Irelia in when you pass the turn?
That makes a lot of sense, and you definitely, it seems like, want to start or end your turn with her not ready just because of that. Looks like we are potentially playing the Discipline.
Want to move her back. That's the only reason you would make this play, but you have a flash in your hand. That one's pretty good at getting units back to your base. So yeah, Troop says, you know what? You go. I don't need to do anything else right now. I'm currently ahead.
She would feel very nice getting to just slash back later. We are ending here with 6 runes up, which is threatening just so much might, so many different options to protect her. A lot to think about for Will.
You're kind of forcing Will to make a move first, right? Irelia is much better when you know what is on the battlefield you're trying to go over and like visit, right? You can do the math, you can see the might numbers and say, okay, you have 12 there. Oh, I can make this a 15 pretty comfortably, especially when you get more resources. So just happy to hang back and will likely flash this Irelia back when it gets to that point, because there's a lot of might on Will's side. It's 10 again between the Draven and the Forerunner. Can be more if Draven wants to recycle. We're in here, Thunder Song, going to shut out any potential tricks here. So you have to retreat your Irelia right now.
Yeah, Rhaenyra's Thunder Song is so interesting. It is an ability that says when you play me, your opponent cannot play any more cards this turn. But it does start a chain. So you are allowed to then chain off of her ability, so we could see things like that flash that you mentioned to bring her back to base, or if we have something else that we think would help make her too large to be used would also be helpful. But we'll have to see what exactly happens that Troop expects will save this Irelia, because that's his goal at the end of the day.
Most notably, Not So Fast, which I believe is in Troop's hand, does counter abilities, but only if they choose a friendly unit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, opponent is not choosing. It's simply saying all of you don't get to do anything, which again, relevant, because Riftbound is also a multiplayer game you can play, not in this context we currently have. So instead, the flash does have to be committed, and it is free reign on the battlefields now for Draven.
Yeah, Draven can make it a 4 points here. Maybe we don't have a huge problem with that, as we mentioned. Like, we do just want to get to 6. So maybe we only have to take 1 battlefield next turn, though.
Yeah, need to at least get 1, but again, needs to continue to protect said princess. Resets the seal, by the way, thanks to Veil Temp, which is a pretty cute little interaction. Makes his cold shot feel a little easier to cast. In fact, between the Ezreal and the seal, looks like it's not going to cost much at all.
Let's see. Looks like we have, a couple options here. It looks like Rasa versus a fight or flight right now. Both kind of different game plans. Rasa helping us develop might, fight or flight helping us either defensively or aggressively in some of these battles. I didn't see which one we chose, but both are really nice cards to draw into.
Yeah, chose a seal, notably, for the second one over another Ezreal, which is a pretty... you would think those cards would not be that close in power, but Seal being the more valuable one here, again, especially as you get through your deck, being able to effectively mitigate so many of your purple power costs is a really powerful thing. That's why this deck plays 3 Seals, because you have a lot of costs you want to pay when you get towards the end of your deck. And again, probably going to take our extra point here by rumbling on over, but just counting the cards, making sure everything's all right, and we will check which card Will got from the first cold shot in just a moment. I don't think it was the fight or flight, but I don't exactly remember.
See. Another detonate. Looks like it is going to be that treasure trove.
So much value.
So much value.
You get to channel the rune you lose from the power. You get to draw 3 cards. It's great. Treasure trove does it all.
That is really, really nice. That is for sure. Yeah, normally you see is when you use treasure trove, like Pack of Wonders, treasure trove, but detonate kind of gives just more versatility.
Yeah, a lot of cards too, for a very low rate. So again, this is a Draven build that's very much focused on getting through the deck at blinding speed. So far, so good, but Will's still a little bit behind in the points race, and the Irelia is just ever threatening. It's the hand of cards, excuse me, that Will just fanned out is immense. There's like 12 cards in the hand or something.
So many cards, it's crazy.
Ezra going to take that point though, and that's probably going to pass on back to Troop.
Yeah, so it looks like we are going to go on and tap out this entire turn over Will. So there are no cards that he can play during his turn. There's no hidden cards as well that Irelia is like watching for. But there is a lot of might in the Vild Temple. Sunken Temple, though, on top, it's only 3 right now.
Yeah, Ezreal looks a little easier to take, and again, I think getting 1 point here feels pretty valuable. I don't know how valuable getting 2 really feels in this spot, because you can hold with Irelia, but I just don't think it happens all that often. So I think you're happy to do this, reset your Irelia back to base, maybe leave her there if you don't think there's going to be a whole lot of threat, especially with the Irelia having a Guardian Angel. You don't have to worry about all that much. And then you have to solve the puzzle of how do I crack the 15 might or so that's on the other side. In fact, it's 17 if Draven chooses to get active.
Yeah, there is so much might over there. I mean, maybe there's some world where it would be nice to remove some of that might from the battlefield, but obviously multiple problems. Ferris Forerunner, you're not really removing his might. He's just going to get split into 2 on base. And also, we can just wait till next turn, like you mentioned. But it does look like Discipline's coming down. I'm not sure if we're committing to moving over or if we're, you know, dipping our toe in and seeing what our next card is that we'll draw.
Yeah, you can do kind of a fun little offensive trick with Guardian Angel where you just pump up Irelia and then send her over, and then you expect her to trade off in combat, but of course when GA is there, you don't actually trade. You get to replace her demise with your gear, which is a pretty good exchange, all things considered. Can't win this turn, most notably, so if Troop does want to make this play over to the other side, it's just going to be to cut down the battlefield to set up the next turn. But maybe also taking this as just an opportunity to retreat as well. But I have to think if you're committing a Discipline and your Legend ability, you're probably going over there to do some damage.
Yeah, for sure. And especially like this turn, there are no runes up on Will's side. So he can more reliably take out some of these units just in case there's something he doesn't expect next turn, or if Will's able to leave up enough runes to threaten.
Yeah, great point. No hidden card either, so no fight or flight to potentially ruin your day. So it is 4, 10, 12, plus 3, 15 might. That is exactly the might total left over on that battlefield. Of course, Draven is going to get a trigger here. The champion, not the legend, if that's a little confusing. So can recycle a rune and go to 17, but Troop's got more things to do before that happens. And I think if we're playing a card, we've already passed on Draven potentially getting might from his attack or defend trigger.
Interesting.
Fight or flight instead, going to point at probably the Forerunner. Yep, get that out of here. I do not want you to make extra mechs.
Exactly.
And I'll blow up your board. Thanks very much.
That's so nice. And we will be going to 7. We still have 3 runes up as well. So while maybe we don't like to hold, it's definitely an option here.
Yeah, this is the nice thing about early when you put your opponents in this spot. You're threatening to hold, so they have to come in. You obviously have spells you could potentially trade off here to cut down their force. And then after GA pops, you go back to base, and you're still back in the same spot you want to be in, which is readied Irelia that already got +1 from her own ability, that's ready to dance back through the battlefield once more for a double conquer. So I said Irelia likes to play from 6, which I think is true, but this is the kind of spot where you're also happy to play for 7, because you're kind of forcing your opponent into a choice they don't really want to make. I can't leave you here because you're going to win, but if I kick you out of the base, I might lose as well. So it's kind of a tough hit thing here for Draven, as powerful as Draven can be.
Yeah, Draven's got a lot to think about going into this next turn. We obviously do have a good number of runes. It looks like we are at 9 right now with obviously 2 seals. There's a lot of draw power in this deck from those detonates, these treasure troves. Obviously just the normal miracle package as well. So we could find some pieces, but we are digging.
That's a rebuke. That's a very good card to find. But I was going to say, one of the problems here is that with all this card draw, you kind of have some dead draws in a sense. Yes, the card draw typically gets you more cards, which is good because, again, you're trying to get through your deck. But I worry that there's just maybe too many bricks, right? Like, there's only so many treasure troves you control that don't do anything when you're trying to kick your Irelia off the battlefield that she's otherwise going to win the game from. So Will's going to have to set this up here. Still plenty of resources left. We're going to send in a bunch of might first. 11 over here to this Irelia, who is only currently a 7. 8?
Yeah, I think this is going to be so interesting because to some extent here, we're saying, try to make it bigger, try to do it. And then the moment you do, you burn through those cards. That rebuke comes down and it nullifies it. And we'll have to start from the beginning. And then those cards aren't in Troop's hand anymore.
Yeah, again, this GA, I think a worthy sacrifice here just to pick off one of the units. Forerunner's trigger doesn't matter if you win. So maybe just killing off the Bryn here and saying okay to the GA trigger, just letting it really go back to base seems okay. Might be worried about a follow-up spell, but Ride the Wind is going to happen instead. I would like to go over here, please.
Yeah, and Ride the Wind is such an interesting card because normally in Riftbound, you're only able to conquer once per battlefield during your turn. But actually the wording is during a turn. So because you're moving over, you're able to kind of you know, circumvent that to some extent. It's not the same turn, so you can kind of move a point. That being said, we're at 7, so I'm not sure if we'd be going to 8 here or if we'd be drawing a card.
So it's still the same rules to the winning point, where you have to hold or conquer both battlefields, which is technically possible with the Ride the Wind if you get really spicy with it. You do draw a card, though, once you do hit that conquer. But the problem is this Rebuke is going to open up a window that's still here, and Not So Fast got tapped out of here to play this Ride to Wind. I think Troop was playing for the hold and instead gets maximum punished as Irelia gets returned to the hand.
Ouch.
So no card draw, still at 7, but no hold win here. Irelia going to have to find another window to try and win this game. And there is now 11, I lied, there is 17 might parked at the Veiled Temple thanks to Rasa coming down.
Yeah, that is a lot of might here in the Veiled Temple. That being said, Sneaky Deckhands could take Sunken Temple. It won't put us to 8 points because, just as you mentioned, you have to hold or conquer both sides at some point during your turn to be able to win. But we could get a card draw off of it, which would be really nice.
Yeah, so I should clarify, it is hold for a point or conquer all battlefields for the winning point. You can hold. And you can hold and conquer to win. That was something that I remember messing up a bunch when I was learning the game. You have to do something quickly too, though, because the might totals are getting astronomically high on the Draven side. There's another Rasa and a Vi just hanging out, and that trash is full if Vi wants to get real big.
100%.
Can only do it on Draven's turn. Can't do it as a reaction or anything. So Vi mostly good on offense, which I think is in the spirit of the character from the game. But I feel like Troop wants to try and score the 7th point right now. And again, you have to break through 7. Is it really 17? It is 17 points of might just at one battlefield. And there's a bunch in base as well.
There is so much there. That being said, Irelia is in hand. She's not in the trash pile, so we could see her come back. But it will be a lot that she has to get through. But William is only going to 6 if he's able to hold here, meaning we do have additional turn if needed.
I see Draven Audacious in the hand.
Yeah, he's got 2 in the deck, I believe.
So that one can score the winning point if you score the bonus point. The issue is that Draven Audacious has to win a combat. Much like Draven, combat has to move. So you can't conquer and get an extra point. But if that Draven is big enough to take out that battlefield, and there's only 2 runes over on Will's side, that extra point from the Draven will be enough to win, because all the bonus point effects do count as the winning point. That is one way to circumvent the regular rules of winning.
That'd be really interesting. We'll have to see if Troop is able to pull it off.
I see a bunch of permission spells in Troop's hand. See Defy, Not So Fast. See a Defiant Dance. A lot of math is being done here. How big is Draven Audacious? Production. Let's have a look at this card, because it may be the card that's coming up, because it is fan to the front of the hand here for Troop. 6 energy, 1 power, 6 might. Deflect, that's fun. The first time I win a combat each turn, you score 1 point. We're not going to read the rest of the card right now, even though it does do some funny things. If it dies, your opponent gets a point as well. But if Draven can win this 17 might combat over on the other side, Draven's going to win this game. And GA kind of gives you a second shot at combat here. But you do have to ready, and you can't re-ready Irelia without conquering. So how are we going to re-ready the Draven if you get kicked back to base? Because right now, 6 plus 3, that's 9. That's not enough might. Sneaky Deckhand also can get involved. Can't forget about that little card that got played on turn 1, I think.
Yeah, Sneaky Deckhands has been just hanging around here, sitting in the base instead of going for any of these extra points as Irelia started moving around. But we'll have to see if Draven's able to do anything here. It looks like we are moving both in. It is currently...
That's 11.
He has 11 right now. We do have 3 up.
Yeah, 9 on the Draven and 2 on the Deckhand. So 11 total, rumbling into, again, I will repeat this, 17 might on the other side. And 2 runes up as well. Like Fight or Flight, there's plenty of things. Rebuke as well would be, I think, an absolute blowout here if Will had it. There is a Not So Fast in hand, but can Troop get the Draven back into the battlefield? Because if we're making this play, the plan is to re-ready the Draven and go back in. And Irelia only readies if you conquer. Currently not conquering. So what is the plan?
It does look like we are going to be hitting that spinning axis. It is a +3 we mentioned earlier. So it's, what 16 might now, 17 might, 16 might.
It was 17, so 6, 6.
Yeah, so we're going up to 20 might here.
6, 11, yeah. 6, 11 plus 6 is 17, so 20 now. A nice even number.
Oof, that's a lot to have to deal with.
Ride the Wind in hand. I'm so curious what the plan is here. Defiant Dance. You don't have a way to get the Draven back in. So the plan was to win this combat, apparently.
So what's your total win currently?
But that already seemed really challenging.
Yeah, we're in a rough spot, it feels like.
I mean, Will has used all the runes now, so the tricks are on the table.
Looks like we do have one Defiant Dance, which will be able to bring the other side down to 18 and us up to 13.
Yes. +4 on Draven, because not like Irelia, doesn't have extra text to get a bit bigger. Maybe just trying to cut down some might here and then go back in the next turn. Again, Will's not going to win on the crackback here, only at 5 points. So this could be a multi-turn line here. You can protect the Draven with the permission spells in hand as well. So this might just be like a, for lack of a better word, a value Draven charging on in.
It may be, but it seems dangerous, especially if this Draven gives a point to the opponent. That would put Will up to 6 points before the end of his turn, which would mean the following turn he could win with 8 points.
Yeah, only when you die in combat for Draven Audacious, not when you lose the combat. And the replacement direct from GA should mean you don't actually die in combat.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you can see the players kind of explaining it to each other now. So I believe Troop is setting up a 2-turn play here, where Audacious is going to go back in next turn and try and make it happen. And we know that if some sort of, Falling Star shaped spell, I don't know if Will has it exactly, but something like that would try and take out this Draven. There is a permission spell not so fast to protect the Draven from at least one of those. So only 5 points now for Will. Going to go to 6 from the first Forerunner, staying at the battlefield. But again, Draven is really scary on the other side of the table.
Yeah, he is not nice to have to deal with. So we are still at 6 points. I mean, we're at 6 points by holding, so we will not be able to win on this turn for Will. But we have threatening a lot of might here.
You definitely have to stack one side as well on the Draven side, because you can't afford Draven an easy combat to win on the other side at the temples. So, sorry, at the Sunken Temple. There's 2 temples in play. So Ezreal going to reinforce and draw some cards here. And again, Rasa and Vi on the other side. That's 9 more might that can be added to this battlefield. So 12, 15, 18 might potentially on the table, just from the units we can see.
Yeah, that is for sure. And there still are 4 runes up. We could essentially see more units or spells as well.
Now counting the deck, Will knows I've gotten low. I know what spells I've been recycling here. I know what I have access to. You definitely don't want to make the mistake of overdrawing your deck. That is a disaster for the Miracle decks. But Cold Shock going to find a Rebuke. That feels like a pretty tough thing for this Draven to fight through. And Draven already had a tough road with how big this battlefield is.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting because it looked like he was avoiding the draw cards. I saw Scrap Heap go to the bottom. I think I saw a Stack Deck go to the bottom as well. So we'll have to, see exactly what Will does, but he is definitely avoiding the draw, like you mentioned.
There's Rasa, played for not very much.
Yeah, not
Lots of cards in the trash at this point, so just going to say... Will at this point just looks to be counting the numbers and be like, I just want to make the biggest number possible. Go ahead. See if you can get through this. I
think that's a great plan for Will, just to try to make the one side as heavy as possible. Too much, hopefully, for Troop to deal with. But Irelia has a lot of might in hand from everything that they do, and we'll have to see if there's potentially some answer here.
They're drawing 2 actually here, off the Conquer from the Temple, and 1 for being at 7 points and conquering a battlefield. You cannot win by conquering a single battlefield, but you can get some extra cards once you are at this point. So if Troop does find a way to conquer the other battlefield that is laden with units, Irelia is going to win this match 2-0. But I do not know how Irelia is supposed to puzzle out of this.
Yeah, it is definitely just that, a puzzle.
Charm would do it.
Charm could potentially help us here, yeah.
That would win. You could charm a unit over, have Draven win a combat, and that gets the point. So I guess that's what Troop is digging for, but I don't think you found one.
It doesn't look like it's in hand just yet. I'm not sure there's any other way to draw either here, but it looks like we are going to pass. Will only go to 7 points, and there are no units in the base right now. However, if he fight or flights or flashes in these units back, they will maintain being ready. That being said, if they move up into Sunken Temple, there are still 5 runes. That could be any number of might additions, fight or flight themselves, or things like that that can help Troops survive it.
So this is going to be the last turn of the game, because both players are at 7, and Draven is threatening not only a hold, which is kind of funny, but if a combat goes wrong on the other side, Draven's also going to win, because he's going to win a combat and score the point on the opponent's turn. Vi also has ganking, by the way. So Vi might just rumble on over there with the extremely stacked trash we saw earlier. And that's going to be enough might to win a combat, unless Troop has a Rebuke. Because the rules that apply to Draven Legend also apply to Draven Audacious.
Very, very true. I mean, that would be absolutely crazy if so. It does look like we are... so we have called shot where you, with the Seal of Discord.
Only 10 minutes left. Like, I don't understand. If we play a game 3, there's going to have to be some turbo time from these players.
Let's see. So many cards in hand.
There's a Rebuke in hand for Will as well, so even the Draven isn't that much of a problem. Just recycling a bunch. You do it one at a time as Vi, so I believe you do get to order these in the way that you want. Vi is one of the few ways that this actually happens. Typically, when you recycle, you actually recycle multiple cards at a time, and when you do that, you actually do have to shuffle them. You have to randomize them. Vi is one of the few cases where you can, in effect, stack your deck, and this number is about to be extremely big.
Oh my god. Yeah, it looks like we are putting...
It's 19?
19, yeah, 19 on her, and she's already a 3, so it is going to be 22 threatening this Draven. I do think like there's maybe a Rebuke in hand.
I can't see it just yet.
Could be wrong, but maybe not. It looks like we're resetting and going.
That's it. That's game.
Yeah.
We're going to play a third game here.
Let's see what happens. It's going to be a huge question of who can get those early points, because it will probably go down to... We'll have to see what happens. We are going into Zon Warren and Dreaming Tree, so those scrap heaps could now be discarded on Zon Warrens.
Yeah, definitely one of the things with these decks that want to churn through the whole deck and set up really big turns in the late game is it can take a while to get through the game. The Miracle Shells can be a bit time-consuming. You have to play very rapidly. So we'll see how rapidly the players play, because there is not a lot of time left in the round. 7 minutes as we move on into game number 3. The fact that there were even ways for Troop to win that game in the position it was in is wild to me. But Will did navigate it, and we'll see which player is able to take this final game. Guardian Angel, the first play of the turn for Irelia.
Yeah, it was interesting. Maybe I don't think they mulliganed anything. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but we
might have just moved through it.
Yeah,
we might have to.
We might just jump through it really quickly, but we do get the Guardian Angel down, which is a nice early protection for Irelia when we get Irelia out, but we'll still need another turn before Irelia is possible. It doesn't look like there's any units in hand, which is going to be a problem because, Draven can get early points with this Ezreal.
Yeah, well, it's going to feel nice, especially again when there's limited time in the round. So Ezreal on board, drew 3 cards, by the way, after discarding a scrap heap, which is the maximum value out of your Ezreal. There's another scrap heap to the Zone Warrens this time, drawing yet another 2. Gonna play this Draven, go. We are playing as fast as we can because we have to. We are getting late in this round.
Yep, it's time to move, that is for sure, with only 6 minutes on the clock.
Sneaky deck.
We finally drew the deckhand, but yeah, that would be interesting to see played. Looks like it's gonna be Irelia, though, for that 5. And we will be spending 1 on Guardian Angel. It does give it +1 might. Let's see if you...
Yeah, I think the protection is a bit more valuable here. As you noted, like you don't really want to play Irelia without being able to protect it unless you're pretty confident your opponent can't take it out. Maybe, I think considering readying now.
Exactly.
That's actually the consideration.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to ready it or not. He could. It looks like... killed the Ezreal. We are at enough might do it. There are no runes up on the Draven side, so it is possible.
I will say, this play looks very safe for Troop. The one way it's going to go wrong is if there's a detonate on Will's side, because that Guardian Angel is basically the only thing holding this Irelia together.
It is right now. We discarded the sneaky deckhands. But oh my god, we charmed up the Draven and it's dead.
Very nicely done. Basically, it looks like a removal spell, and it's effectively that in this spot. Troop passing back should have 2 points, I believe, now as well. Has hit both. Sorry, that's only 1. Charmed it over. My mistake. So it's 1 apiece. But no units important left here for Will. And Troop has kind of got to go. Again, both players have to go as quickly as possible. But Irelia, if there's a deck that can win, try and win quickly, it's probably this deck.
Yeah, and both players are trying to move quick. We do see Ferris Forerunner, big might, but he's not able to move into a battlefield.
I did see a Rebuke in Will's hand as well, so that really does not get bounced, which I wonder if it's going to be the difference here, but deciding to commit the might to the board, again, needs to have bodies on the table ASAP, because not only do you have to find a way to overpower your Irelia opponent, you also have to just get points on the board, because if this goes to time, that's going to be important as well. So we're going to take a point for holding. GA is going to get equipped. Are we going to ready once again with the Legend ability?
Yeah, we'll have to see. It would be nice to get that extra point. It would officially put us 2 ahead of Will, which is really important here. But it looks like On Guard is what we're going to do or use to do that.
We're recycling out Calm Power there. That's interesting, because you can't bluff Not So Fast or Defy now. Irelia's any, yeah, Irelia's it's any power, right? It's not, it doesn't have to be a specific color. So maybe just a slight slip of the mind there for Troop. I mean, if he's playing honestly with his hand face up, he's just saying, I don't have a counterspell. Which if you're Will looking at this board, you're like, great, that's exactly the information I needed.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Still ahead though, so again, don't have to worry too much. It's this Forerunner's going to go on into those Zone Warrens.
Yeah, we've started our battering ram counter as well, so it is a threat coming into the base, or potentially to hold on Warrens as well, I guess.
Ezreal again, going to churn through even more cards.
We'll actually have to pay the power since we don't have a Seal of Discord this game. Doesn't feel great, but I mean, this game we just got to move fast.
Yeah, again, players have to be swiftly, and there's that seal you're asking for. Good enough, we'll say.
Yeah.
Do have to recycle for that one, though, but the next one you may be able to pay for with your seal.
Exactly. And so it does look like we're going to be using the Seal of Discord for Called Shot, more cards for the Battering Ram, and we'll be able to look at multiple cards here. Hopefully draw 2.
Ram is dangerously close to costing 1. It's 4 cards played on the turn. Actually, that's it. It is tossing.
Yeah,
it's been reduced for 4. Can't play it for free by getting a 5, but getting a 4 is good enough. And there's Ram number 1, and here's Ram number 2.
That is crazy. And the second battering ram.
Ram number 3!
Oh my gosh, all 3 battering rams down. I mean, base completely developed, and that battlefield threatening 11 might on Zon Warrens. And I mean, the Irelia, I think, has like the options to get that big, but the problem is there's a hidden card in the Dreaming Tree now, which does mean like we can't move as freely as we'd like.
We might be. It's so interesting here because I think we're moving back to our own base to draw a card of Dreaming Tree and just get the Irelia where she needs to be, which is on the other battlefield to try and kill some of these units. And that is exactly the play that Troop wants to make.
We hit Discipline as well, which could be essentially a +3 for this Irelia.
See Defiant Dance as well. This turn's going to get pretty sick, I have to think.
This is really nice. We are going to move up into Zon Warrens. We are currently a 7. Going up to, yeah, going up to 10, you're right. I almost said 2.
It is 2, it's just 1 more after that.
Yeah.
4, 9, 10.
That's Troop commentate. He does it really great. He's been counting like really clearly.
Yeah, he has been
counting
clearly.
So making my life easier just by copying the homework.
For sure. And then On Guard comes down. It does look like we're going to be taking Zon Warrens, but 2 more baby mechs here. Both 3 might into this Draven's base. There is so much might in this base, threatening just so much.
And here's another hidden card, which could once again be anything. And this time, Troop's decided, you know what? I want to hold here. Come at me. I will happily challenge you on this battlefield. Again, feels pretty safe with the GA, has a Ride the Wind, a Defy, and a Defiant Dance. That hand is stacked.
Yeah, we do have 2 runes up. One of those looks like it's going to be Defy, but we still have that Threat of Defiance.
Yeah, had to actually discard it to the Zone Warrens. The Conquer Trigger is not optional.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be draw discard. Decides it wants to keep the protection instead of the permission spell. And here we go, Might rumbling back on into the Warrens. It is 4-2 right now in points. As the players race to 8, and I do mean race this time around.
Yeah, and we are moving up here with 13 might. There is currently only 5.
Yep.
5 on this Irelia. Let's see what it is. It looks like it's going to be a fight or flight.
Back to base again.
Back to base we go, just like you said.
Draven, though, is going to draw a card, and discard draw once again. So plenty of cards being looked at here by Will.
And we are going to time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. There's so much might here in Zon Warrens. It is the one bad thing about moving back with fight or flight is that a lot of times you are just going to leave so much might there. There's 13 to have to deal with, and the second baby mech is able just to move into Dreaming Tree. Rasa coming down to fortify that side as well.
Yeah, trying to get a little bit of clarity on what the rules at the end of the round actually when time is called. I believe the players are going to play some additional turns.
It's, I think, +3 turns, and then you also have to win by 2 now.
Okay.
2 points.
So it is most points, but you have to win by a couple. Otherwise, you're going to get a draw, which is maybe this early in the tournament not something you want to grab.
Yeah, this early is not great, I would say, but that's why having these like point differences is so important for this Irelia. And It looks like Ferris Forerunner also coming down for that Dreaming Tree. We are getting stacked on both sides of these battlefields.
So I believe if it's 3 additional turns, I believe this is turn 0. So there's in the way going to be, I believe, 2 turns each for the players, and Will's going to be the one starting this here. So 4 to 5 right now in points, but Irelia ready to go on the other side.
4 to 5, right? Yes.
Let's see here. We are, it looks like, ending our turn with 6 runes up, so we do have to keep an eye on that as troop. But we do have 6 as well, so let's see.
And you can see that die Will. This time, not a battering ram counter. This is the turn counter. So it is 3 additional turns, and this is now turn 1. So it sounds a bit silly because it's an odd number, but an even number of turns. But understandably, players each get an even number of turns to try and round out the game. And if I believe what you're saying is correct, which I have to imagine it is, someone please correct me if not, win by 2 or get to 8.
Yeah, or get to 8. I mean, it's possible. We're at 5
possible.
points. And we are currently at 6 might here for this Irelia. 1 from readying and 1 from that Guardian Angel. We have some options, not only to buff our might, but also to decrease the might of our opponents. Zone is also going to be helping to protect this Irelia if she dies.
Notably, I think with the way the turns currently go, I think Will can win by getting to 8 points. He's not going to have enough turns to do so at 4. So holding to 6 for your last turn is not going to get it done. But we'll see. Getting to 6 still feel good as far as keeping the score even. If you, again, you certainly don't want to get a loss. You don't love a draw either, but want to at least kind of keep yourself in the technically undefeated bracket, as it were. It's Defiant Dance coming through. Going to shrink some of these. Irelia currently up to 9, it looks like, and -2 is an effective 11, we can call it. So between the 12 and the 13, that's 15. It's going to be 12 versus 11 if my math is... Sorry, I did that wrong. -2 is 13. Irelia is currently a 9, I believe. So Defiant Dance number 2 is going to have to happen here.
Yeah, we do have second one come down now as well. We got the draw on Dreaming Tree from the first one, but it's only once per turn, so we will not see that from the second Defiant Dance.
Interestingly, shrinking something on the other side now is troop. 7, 11, 12 so far.
We are down to...
And Ross has been shrunk once, I believe. Has a 4 on it, so maybe it's a little bit more than I think. That is 15, Mike.
No, you're not. I'm not bigger. You're 11.
So, yeah, was...
Yeah, I think Troop realized that it wasn't actually enough. Yeah, Troop realized that. I think you made a little bit of a math mistake.
Ooh.
4, 10, 13. No. 4, 10, 13. 13, so I'm 11, 12. You're 12. 13.
Yeah, that's not enough. Shrinking the other thing was not what you needed to do there. You needed to shrink something at this battlefield.
Going to...
Yeah.
On the dance then, because I thought you were... I was bigger. I'm going to really dance it.
This is an ouch for sure.
Okay. I'm going to...
Okay, so trying to activate Irelia now.
We are going to have those spinning blades come down, bringing up a +3. We do still have 2 runes up on the Irelia, but we're definitely, I think, outmighting here on Will's side.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you're up. No, I'm up 3. I was up 1, and then you went 1 bigger.
Is there anything Irelia could bring out? I mean, On Guard, I guess, would put us to 3rd. No, it would bring us to 14. I don't think we have it in hand.
No, I'd Ride the Wind and a Charm in hand right now for Troop.
Yeah.
Charm needs you to really be on a battlefield to get the most effect out of it. And Irelia not going to currently be able to make it. So it looks like we are going to end the game 6 points to 5 if this holds and the point totals are correct. Although I guess Troop will get 1 more turn, but not going to kill. It's going to kill a little bit here. So I guess there is still something to play for here, but getting to 8 is going to look real challenging at this juncture.
Yeah, we could potentially bring up... We still can, like... No, we can't ride her again, never mind.
Oh, okay. So would have readied, I believe. Got chosen again by the legend ability, I think, just to get ready to get an additional point of might. But because of the text on GA, you do get exhausted when you move back to ace.
That makes sense.
You're not able to be readied. Irelia can't be readied again, so this equip is not going to do it. It's Ride the Wind, though.
And that will be able to bring us back into one of these bases. It looks like we're going into the bigger base. Ouch, Rebuke is going to come down. This is going to be, I mean, if it goes through, and I believe it should, Irelia is going to be going to hand. The combat win goes to Draven. Will be passing to Will with him holding both of these battlefields.
Yeah, and so again, if I'm correct on how the rules are, because look at the players are talking about it now. from this point, Draven's not really going to get any more points, right? Going to hold for 2, go to 6, and then say go, because there's nothing else I can do. That's my last turn of this game. Irelia has 1 rune left. Not really going to be able to deploy much else on the backswing. So I believe what's going to happen is we will end this game with Draven at 6 points and Irelia at 5. So then the question becomes, are the rules in extra turns that you have to win by 2? Because if that is true, this game is a draw.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
But they're going to play it out. Seal of Discord going down.
We are turning 3 as well. It could be another Ezreal. It is going to be second in Ezreal going to Dreaming Tree.
Yeah, just again, discard some cards, move some objects around, have some fun with it.
Always love that.
Because again, the way this game looks like to me is that Troops going to be able to not do too much. Will's going to reinforce the battlefields just kind of as a formality, just in case there is something that Irelia can pull out with only 3 rooms. And I did get confirmation. This game is likely... Oh, it's 5 turns per player.
Oh, I thought it got decreased. My bad.
Ah, okay. Now it's
getting
getting spicy. All right. So I think at one point you were right. I think that was the rule, but certainly as we are currently in this RQ, because we're of course getting the freshest information, 5 additional turns. So we've had turn 0, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, which is kind of going to be much of a muchness. And then we're going to pass back, and Draven has got things at both battlefields, and that is going to be Draven winning, I believe. Barely getting it. Oh, it is actually 3. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
So it was a draw. Okay.
It was a draw.
So let me bring it all back because that was a long game. My brain is addled in the best way possible because Riftbound is such an excellent game. We're only 2 rounds in to this Regional Qualifier Can't Believe Burst today. So it is only 3 additional turns. You do have to win by 2. And because the points at the end of that all, because the turns all faded away, Draven was at 6 points, Irelia was at 5. And wouldn't you believe that is only a draw when you have to win by 2.
Yeah, it is tragic that it's going to end in a draw here, but hopefully they'll still be able to pull it out for the rest of the day. I think you do have to make 6 and 2 to make day 2, but we still have so many rounds left.
Yeah, we do. Certainly a lot of play for these players. Again, like technically undefeated, you do get a point for a draw. You're going to be in maybe an interesting bracket where potentially a lot of the other Miracle Shells are. Because again, one of the big challenges with playing a deck like Miracle Draven or even these Miracle Jinx decks is that you have to play quickly. Because churning through your entire deck and making these really massive turns with 20+ might just takes a lot of physical game actions.
Yeah,
and you have to get through them in the round time. That is a constraint put on you when you show up to a competitive TCG event.
Yeah, and I think it's something that a lot of people are, learning these Miracle decks. I think we're like 2-3 weeks into the set. And so a lot of players are still trying to figure out how to play these decks in an efficient enough time to finish in those 60 minutes plus 3 turns.
Well, we had a lot of Riftbound for you in those 2 rounds, so I think the players need a break, and I think we may do too. Don't go anywhere. There is more RQ Vegas coming right up. We're going to a quick break.